Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to Hold the Ball, HTB. I did not mean to smack that on the table. Alright, so guys, before I start, hope you're well. Hope all is good. If you're new, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. I'd appreciate it. But in saying that, this is the first installment of basically my review. So this is about the different teams that have participated this year. Give you guys my thoughts on them. And again, viewer discretion, warning. This is basically my own view. It's not here to persuade you to think of it any other way, really. It's just my own perspective. Feel free to comment if you agree, you disagree. That is all gravy, baby. But in saying that, hey, I've got a ball to catch. Be right back. Alright guys, so here we go, right? The Brisbane Broncos, the team from Queensland, the team that came into this year, I think, with a bit of expectation, little one, regarding last year, obviously, being the wooden spooners. The Brisbane Broncos, in my opinion, this year, I think, rightfully had some sort of, chip on their shoulder, especially with a new coach as well. There were some things that were happening, decisions being made and all that stuff there. And obviously as they head into the season here, the outlook was for them to try and do some serious damage. Now, obviously in saying that, it wasn't to be as we overview and look throughout their season. But in saying that, there is a glimmer of hope somewhat, I think. So in saying that, we'll get into it. So as we know of the Brisbane Broncos, their stats so far, so they finished 14th in NRL, in saying that they were a team that could have, I think, in some way, shape or form gone better, but in saying that 14th is what it is for them. So they finished the season with 446 points for, and they also finished the season with 695 points against them. Bearing in mind again that this is a team that's had a few heavy defeats and also some few good victories too. And in saying that as well, they had 7 wins and 17 losses, 24 games played, 1 bye. So as we sort of look at that, I'm also going to go into the team performance and sort of name up some individual players, I think. So their best game for me personally was round 11 when they beat the Roosters in Sydney, 16 points to 34. That's right. They actually came in as heavy underdogs, and for some reason they just turned it up. That was the game where I believe Albert Kelly made his debut for the Broncos. That's the game where Victor Radley as well got the, I think, a few weeks from the hit with on David Tapangai Jr. as well as Albert Kelly. Again, this game here to me, they came in as underdogs. There wasn't much expectation. If you're a tipper, I'm pretty sure if you were not a Broncos fan, you probably would have tipped the Broncos. And even if you were a Broncos fan, I'm sure you would probably look at this and being like, I'll probably pick the Broncos, and I'll probably pick the Broncos to lose, I guess. That to me was my personal memorable game. And so as we sort of sum that up, we look into their best player, and for me personally, their best player by far this season was Payne Haas. Noticeable mentions, I guess, to Albert Kelly, Xavier Coates, who's now over there at the Storm. You can even say that in the small amount of games that we sort of saw from Kotoni Staggs. I think he only played 1 or 2, but I think he showed some brilliance there. And even off to, Bullimore, and just a handful of players. But for me personally, the best player this season was definitely Payne Haas. He led from the front. He was vocal. He was strong. He was just their key player, and especially with some other players too. And bear in mind, you had Matt Lodge and David Tapangai Jr. who were in the squad as well. So for him to stand out and be that consistent player, again, shows his worth. Shout out to Jordan Ricky as well, who I think was superb. But just their best player was, to me, Payne Haas by far. Nobody can, I think, come close to what he's done, even comparatively to other teams as well. For a player to just sort of carry their team week in, week out, to have his murder, to have his engine, his drive is good. Again, kudos to Payne Haas, who to me was their best player. And I guess the lead from that as well, we had a breakout player as well, and for me that was Desi New, who came into the squad reasonably young as well. Again, he's not that old. I think he's about 19 years old, 19 or 20 years of age. And from playing at fullback as well, he saw glimpses of what can be. I thought he was really excellent with his returns as well. Defensively wasn't bad, but I mean, overall, considering it's been a position that's been sort of, I guess to a degree, almost thrown to him. Bearing in mind you've had different players play there as well. Isako at one stage as well, fullback. I think even Milford played there at one stage. But look, point being, Desi new to me. He showed some brilliance, crafty with the ball in hand, had some key wins, breakouts as well. And for me personally, was their breakout star. So look for him to do some damage. Again, noticeable mentions to others as well. Jordan Dickey, like I said, Pia Kura as well could be potentially one. But I'm in saying that, yeah, Desi New for me took that out. I will have to also mention, in my opinion, the worst player. So, again, this is based purely on my own opinion. I think for me, it was Anthony Milford for the Brisbane Broncos. And the reason being is, obviously, on that pay packet, considering he's been there for a few years, I just don't think he really did enough, apart from that magnificent season in that 2015, 15 where he played for the Broncos. It just wasn't enough. We sort of saw little bits and pieces of Milford throughout the year. I think his best game was against the Warriors. But I mean, besides that, it just wasn't enough, I don't think. Again, you tell me what you think there, but Anthony Milford, what he was worth or what he should have brought, yeah, it wasn't enough. And you probably could have expected more from him, and he didn't quite deliver. Week after week, there was pressure, there was expectations. He got dropped. But then when he came back, apart from that one game I mentioned, just wasn't on for him. And obviously because of that, he's been shopped around. And hence the reason why he's playing now for South. So again, I think the only thing too that works in his favour is age. There's that chance of redemption at the Souths, with the South Sydney Rabbitohs. But as to whether he can do it, remains unseen. But I think for me, he was probably the most disappointing player, the worst player for the Brisbane Broncos. And I say that as somebody who likes watching the MILF, who loves watching him on a week-to-week basis, but unfortunately just could not deliver. Now, that brings me to my conclusion, right? Quickly, I'll sum it up and then give you guys my thoughts at the end with the final grade. So, I think the team's weakness overall, I think their weakness was just a bad team. Overall, it's just a bad team. Offensively, defensively, there were lapses there where you sort of thought that they could do something. Particularly, one game was that Tigers game where they were actually in the front foot and then they just crumbled, and they shouldn't have. And it was a game that they should have won. It was a home game too. Again, there was just no reason for them to lose, and they lost that game. The game where they should have won, they lost. And I think overall as well, just the lack of form for some players, maybe injuries contributed as well. But I think overall it just came down to that. They were just not a good team. Some players as well questionable, shouldn't have probably even played. But again, comes down to all that stuff there. And that was my thoughts there. Now from weaknesses we go to strengths, and I think their strength for me, I think it was Payne Haas. That's it. I think, the strength was Payne Haas. I think it was also the solid couple of wins they sort of, gathered at the end to sort of show some sort of promise, even though they had won 7 games. Again, the last 3 winners they had, you could almost see it was a turning point. Even some of their losses too. Look, there is some hope, I think. There is a glimmer of hope, I think. But yeah, that to me was a strength. Just the last couple of games there, but just Payne Haas leading from the front foot. Such a franchise player, I think. And I think, not that I'm doing a prediction as to where they'll be, but are their goals heading into next season? I think one would be a new captain, potentially a new outlook. Obviously, we've had the retirement of Alex Glenn. Maybe a new captain. I've got one, Payne Haas. Leads from the front, talkative, strong dude, reliable, engine room, their best player for a multitude of years. Why not? But that is it. So I want to now give them their final grade. And again, as I said, my own opinion. And here we go, the final grade. I want to give the Brisbane Broncos a D. For those of you questioning why, well, I'm going to look at a few factors. Obviously, I've talked about the overall just a poor team. Obviously, regarding the coach, there were some issues there from the prior one and this one here. Kevin Walters tried his best, but sometimes you probably question the formation. the players who were playing again, just not good enough. Another one as well is obviously the majority of the season they were based in Queensland. So again, why did they not, sort of take advantage of that? Sorry, I know that they were not the best team, but I mean, the game against the Tigers, a prime example. I guess you could also look at that heartbreaking loss to the Titans too. Look, this Brisbane Broncos team, to me, like I said, in this there is a glimmer of hope. There is something to look forward to, but again, what is it? I'm not too sure. But that's my final grading for them. A D. Not good enough. Didn't take their chances. Just didn't deserve to hang out with the big boys, and that's it. So yeah, like I said, glimmer of hope for next season. Just hopefully they can keep Payne Haas, because if he goes, I'm not too sure what happens to this Broncos team heading into next season, the season after that, so on and so forth. Particularly with the new Queensland team, you want to sort of show some dominance. You don't want to fall and finish fourth out of the Queensland teams there. But in saying that, guys, that is my overall review of this season. What do you guys think? Am I wrong? Am I right? Tell me what you guys think. But in saying that, this has been HTB. I've enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. You're the best for making this far. See you guys next time. And Brisbane Broncos. Word of advice, hold the ball. See you guys next time. Take it easy.